next topic I wanted to touch on is GPP. Well, what does GPP stand for? GPP stands for General Physical Preparedness, right? We are training so that we're ready for anything and everything that life can throw at us, right? So if you're crossing the street and you got to lift a car off an old lady, or run and save a kid from getting hit by a bus, or maybe you're just being chased by a bear. I don't know. We want to be ready for anything and everything. So general physical preparedness. So with general physical preparedness in here, there are going to be 10 principal skills. I'm going to go over each one of those 10 principal skills, right? Got my little cheat sheet here, right? So our first skill is endurance. So endurance is our body's ability to utilize oxygen over an extended period of time. So this is an example of an endurance athlete would be a marathon runner, so to speak, right? Next up is stamina, right? You might think that stamina and endurance are the same thing, but they're very, very different, right? They're a different system inside the body. So stamina is the body's ability to utilize muscle glycogen over an extended period of time, right? So a good high stamina athlete is going to be your boxers, your MMA fighters, right? Those types of things. Maybe your NFL players who are going and they're using a lot of intensity over a long period of time, over a match or a football game. The next one up, strength, right? How can we apply force to an object, right? So strength athlete, that's pretty obvious, right? Maybe it's your power lifters, your Olympic lifters, your strongmen, right? Those are strength. Next one up is flexibility. How are we able to move our body, our joints, our limbs in a full range of motion, right? To get from point A to point B in that movement, right? Very, very, very important. Next up is going to be power. This is really similar to strength, but it's going to be explosive here, right? We're going to use a combination of muscular units to apply strength explosively. Next one up is speed, right? This is our ability to move quickly, right? Some examples of a speed athlete are going to be your sprinters, right? That 40-yard dash type of thing, right? They're moving and they're moving fast. Next one up is coordination. How can we string multiple muscle groups together and coordinate them together for a single task, right? What's a coordination athlete? Maybe a basketball player, right? Or a golfer. I don't know. Agility. This is the body's ability to move and change directions quickly. So again, a basketball player or a soccer player who needs to be highly agile. A boxer. Balance. The body's ability to not fall over, right? Especially when we're moving, we need to keep our center of gravity over our base. Balance is very, very important. And the last one is accuracy. Okay? How can we pinpoint a target, right? A baseball pitcher, a archer, right? There's the sport where you go cross-country skiing and shoot a rifle at a target, right? That requires a high level of accuracy. Okay? So these are our 10 principal skills. Now, there are certain specialists out in the world, and let's say the endurance runner. There was a runner that set the world record for a marathon, right? The dude ran this thing so darn fast. He ran the whole marathon, 26 miles, at a pace that an elite CrossFitter might try to run a 400-meter dash, right? So very, 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 very good at marathon running. But in order to be the world's best endurance athlete, you're probably giving up abilities in a lot of these other things, right? Mainly, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say the best endurance athlete in the world probably isn't super strong, right? The strongest man in the world recently just deadlifted over 1,200 pounds, right? He's the strongest man in the world. He's probably not real good in a marathon, right? So he gave up his endurance to be strong, while the endurance guy maybe gave up strength, right? The strength guy, strongest man in the world, maybe he gave up a little bit of flexibility. Maybe he's not so fast, but he's the world's strongest man, right? Does that make sense? So what's really cool about training in here in our program is we are going to train every single one of these skills. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to be world best at any of them, but you're going to be badass at every one of these things, right? Now, and when I say badass, maybe if you're new here, maybe you're comparing yourself to some of the other athletes and you're like, I'm definitely not badass like them. But give it some time, you will become superhuman. You will become a badass compared to people outside the gym, right? Trust me, it's going to happen. Now, you're going to be skilled and better at some of these things than others. Like for me, I can do pretty strong, but flexibility is not my strong suit, and I definitely ain't fast, right? So why do I tell you that? Well, tell you what, on the days where we're running, I don't miss those days, right? I am not fast. Running is a very, very hard thing personally for me. Just wasn't gifted in it. But I like a nice heavy barbell when I'm picking it up off the ground. So if I'm going to skip a workout, so to speak, or cherry pick, it's definitely not going to be that one. And now, as you train repeatedly and consistently, you are going to get great, better at every single one of those things. And let me tell you something. When you're great and super great at a lot of these things, life is easier. Life is better, right? Me personally, I don't want to give up completely on some of these things because you're going to need them in everyday life, okay? So being badass at all 10 of these things is going to give you a really fun life, and you're just going to enjoy it better. All right, that's GPP. We'll see you in the next video.